Alrighty, what's up, gamers? This week, I know I haven't uploaded in a minute, but my week 5 game got pushed back, and so this week is going to be a double header. But also, the Elden Ring DLC just came out, and I'm trying to grind that as much as possible. So this is going to be low production value um, walkthrough of the games and the team builder, as well as the trades that the team has made before then at the trade deadline. So we'll start with the trades. Ursaluna has opened his third eye and is now Ursaluna Blood Moon. And we are also trading Volcanion and Galvantula for Dragonite and Spidops. I think Dragonite is going to provide a lot of value as like a win con, a physical breaker. Technically, it can be a special breaker as well with moves like Hurricane and Flamethrower and stuff like that. E-Speed priority is really nice, as we found with Rillaboom. Spidops still presents the same webs options that Galvantula does. Galvantula's obviously got a good speed tier and some strong special attacks, but really it's hard to find like a reason to bring it other than just webs. So if I figured I'm just bringing it for webs, I'm gonna bring a cheaper websmon. And Ursaluna Blood Moon, because we're losing our special breaking power with Volcanion. We're trading Ursaluna back for Blood Moon. We don't have the same Guts Flame Orb sets that are completely impossible to switch into, but I think like you can still run specs with like Hyper Voice and Earth Power or Calm Mind sets, or even, as you'll see, Grassy Seed, Calm Mind Win Con sets with terrain recovery or leftovers recovery. So the team's still very offensive. It's not got a lot of great defensive pieces, but I'm still happy with it. And those are the trades. Even though the speed tiers aren't great. So this is our week 5 matchup against the Draggin Deez Suns across your chin. It's a Sun team with dragons. 3 dragon types and Torkoal. It's a very scary team. A lot of very powerful special attackers. Roaring Moon means you can't just skip out on physical offense. Hisuian Typhlosion's a Terra Captain. And then Corviknight and Hatterene are defensive backbones. So we're just going to jump right into the team builder for this one here. Up first is Terra Steel Mesprit with an Akaberry. This is our Venusaur check. You can tell we got some defenses for Roaring Moon calcs, and then we have Play Rough for Roaring Moon, Psyshock for Venusaur, U-Turn for momentum grabbing, and then just Stealth Rocks if we have a chance to get it up. Terra Steel is great because we can't be Earth powered. We're immune to Sludge Bomb. We resist Giga Drain. The issue is Weather Ball, which is why we have an Akaberry. Next up is Blastoise. Assault Vest Blastoise with pretty much max special defense means that Mirror Coat is going to get big damage off on Walking Wake because we can survive 2 Dracos from neutral most of the time, unless he's like Specs attack boost, which is terrifying. But yeah, Mirror Coat is for that. We resist Hydro Steam, obviously. Flip Turn for momentum, Rapid Spin in case he gets hazards with Torkoal or Sandy Shocks, and then Ice Beam hits Sandy Shocks as well as Roaring Moon. But I'm mainly just planning to Mirror Coat away Walking Wake. Next is Choice Scarf Spectrier with enough speed to outspeed his scary booster mons / like a setup Roaring Moon. I should have had more speed than this. I needed enough speed to outspeed Chlorophyll Venusaur. I was like 12 EV short, and I was not that. So that comes back to bite me a little bit, you'll see. But we are Choice Scarf with Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Will-O-Wisp, and Hyper Beam for if we really need something gone. We need to like Hyper Beam Walking Wake out of there or something like that at the cost of our Spectrier, most likely. But that is that. Next up is a Wind Condition Hawlucha, Grassy Seed, Sword Stance, Close Combat, Acrobatics, Encore. With just a little bit of speed, we can outspeed a lot of the team with Unburden, even Venusaur and Chlorophyll. So the defense is to let us set it up hopefully on Roaring Moon. With our Grassy Seed boost, we should take nothing from that. We can encore into something like Knockoff and give us our opportunity to get Sword Stances. If there's no Corviknight, we can get chip on things like Torkoal and Hat, then Hawlucha can end the game pretty easily. Next is Blood Moon. I really wanted something to punish like a slow, greedy Corviknight that sort of comes in and can't really do anything. So we're bringing Leftovers, Calm Mind with Blood Moon and Earth Power for stabs, and then Moonlight in the Sun heals us for 75% instead of 50, which is really great. We're EV'd to take on Walking Awake outside of Sun with a Calm Mind boost up. And then finally is Banded Rillaboom, who seems to always be banded. But Banded Grassy Glide is great. Low Kick kills Roaring Moon. Knockoff is good for removing items, especially when they don't have to run boosters in these Sun teams. And then U-Turn for momentum. And obviously Grassy Terrain enables our Hawlucha. It gives recovery for our Blood Moon to try and set up a sweep. It's pretty solid. So let's go ahead and get into the game here. Not this one, this one. So we're going to lead off with Blood Moon into Torkoal to try and force it to switch right away. And Venusaur is going to come in on our Earth Power, and we get a ton off on Venusaur. We're going to go right to our answer in Mesprit. Giga Drain's going to hit us for 30, but he's going to reveal Life Orb. Here I Terra Steel, and he calls it with a Weather Ball, which is really great for him. And instead of Psyshocking, because I was expecting Roaring Moon coming in, I U-turned as a mid-ground. And so I'm going to go to Blastoise to try and force a Giga Drain, double back into Mesprit because I should live after being Terra Steel, which I do. Which means we get a little bit more Life Orb chip and stall Sun. And we are going to go down to this Giga Drain. And looking at the calcs, he has to have a lot of HP on this to survive Rillaboom's banded Grassy Glide. And he does. Based on the amount of HP he had, this was a 83% to kill. I thought it was just going to be like 252, 252, but it was not. So it lives barely and gets the Weather Ball off and kills us, which is really awful. Thankfully, Life Orb kills it, but now we're in a bad spot. Roaring Moon is going to come in on Blastoise, and we're going to go to our Blood Moon, and he's just going to remove our Leftovers. But thanks to us having no items and our natural bulk, we actually live Knockoff, and thanks to the Sun being up, we can get a ton back with Moonlight, and start setting up in this Roaring Goon's face. And he's going to double it to Torkoal, which is a bit of an odd play as we heal back up to full here. And we're just going to blow up Torkoal with Earth Power. So Sun is removed for the game as long as we can live through these turns. Walking Wake comes in. I go to my calc and look at Booster's Attack Wake, and I forget to look at the Sun, and I'm stupid, and we explode. Blastoise was free there. I could have kept Blood Moon, but I didn't. He reveals that he's not choiced, and we're going to get our fat Mirror Coat off, put this in range of anything for Spectrier. He flip turns into Sandy Shocks. I go for a mid-ground Ice Beam here. It pops this balloon, which is nice. It doesn't give us a freeze. And at this point, Blastoise has sort of done his job, and I'm willing to sack to a Volt Switch because I don't want anything else taking damage, but he lives. So I get to chip down this Hatterene into range of Shadow Ball, which is really great. Sun is also running out, which is really nice. Spectre is going to come in, Shadow Ball. I'm Choice Scarf, which means Roaring Moon, unfortunately, is free here and kills with Knock. So I have to go to Hawlucha on Knock, but that does mean even though we don't get the defense boost, we are unburdened. So we get a CC. His winning play there would be, I guess, there was no winning play. He could have sacked Walking Wake to bring in Sandy Shocks, who lives one, and Revenge kills us. And then I would have been able to go into Spectrier and Draining Kiss, and then +1 Draining Kiss kills Roaring Moon because I'm Choice Scarf. So from that point, the game was locked up with our two cleaners here, thankfully. So nearly choked this one, which would have been really embarrassing. But Spectre Air Choice Scarf is able to get it done with Hawlucha breaking down his Dark type, which is, sort of the goal of Spectre Air and Hawlucha together. So we're able to close that one out. Next up is our Week 6 matchup against the best player in the league with the best mon in the format, Draggin. Playing against Tetrafolium here, who's been our finalist opponent in the past 3 seasons. We've managed to eke out 2-1 against him. I think he still probably has an even or positive record against us. He's a really strong opponent. So looking at his team, Scizor has an incredible matchup into us. He doesn't have any ground resists. He has Colossal Terra Flying, that's it. And he also doesn't have a lot of great flying type squishions. Weird Ear is an interesting bring that he picked up right before the Terra deadline. It's a normal type, so it's immune to Shadow Ball, and it also gets Sap Sipper for Rillaboom. So it's one thing I was just sort of considering while building this team. So let's get into the team for that week. Here we go. So up first is Blastoise with a Rocky Helmet. Between Scizor and Weavile, I really wanted to get Chip and have a reliable answer, especially when I was expecting Scarf Weavile, which is actually what ended up coming. I wanted Rocky Helmet. Even if it gets knocked off, I can get, Surf damage on something or Flip Turn for momentum. Rapid Spin is useful for when something like Colossal starts stacking hazards against us. So that's pretty basic set. 8 attack and Surf for stab. Next up is Ursaluna Blood Moon with a Grassy Seed and a ton of bulk. So with a Calm Mind boost and a Grassy Seed boost, we can eat a ton of hits. Calm Mind sets us up, Vacuum Wave picks off Weavile or other threats, Blood Moon does the big damage, and Earth Power doesn't really have a switch in. So if I can position this right, I think I have a really great matchup and can do a lot of damage and break a lot of holes with this. Next is Rillaboom with a Miracle Seed to buff Choice Band on Grassy Glide and Woodhammer and still get that good damage, especially against something like a Florges setting up, which can be really scary. Otherwise, we're Knockoff and U-Turn, pretty much the same as our Choice Banded set, but we might be able to bluff it depending on what moves we have to click, and Priority is nice. Next up is Dragonite, and we're bringing more of a supportive set this week to help take on Scizor with our multi-scale up. So we have Boots to preserve that, Roost to get it back if we have the opportunity, Thunder Wave to cripple opposing threats like Dragon Bolt if it comes in to try and revenge us and set up or something like that. Iron Head is for Florges, and Hurricane is just a good click in general, especially if I bring this in on Scizor. He expects something like a Fire Punch and goes to like a Tauros. He does not want to take a Hurricane. So we'll see how this support D-Knight set turns out for us. Up next is Spec with Shadow Ball, Wisp, Draining Kiss, Dark Pulse. Enough speed for, I believe that's Weavile and Modest or Adamant Pulse. Non-boosted, of course. I don't expect this to be able to win, but I do expect it to break pretty hard and enable some of our other pieces to do well. And finally is Diancie, who's our Dragapult answer, with a really whack EV spread to cover a multitude of sets. Moonblast, Calm Mind, Earth Power, and Terra Steel for Florges Energy Ball in case we get into a Calm Mind war, for example. I thought about having Terra Blast over Earth Power, but Earth Power is just really good into his team, and it gives me something to hit Slowking Galar, who really can't do anything to this besides Flamethrower, which doesn't do a ton. So that's the team. We're going to get into the battle. We're going to put this one on fast because I don't like the way this game goes, spoilers, and I want to get through it really quickly. So we're going to leave Blastoise into Scizor. He's going to U-turn, take Rocky Helmet Chip, and based on that damage, he's either low-balling like a Bandit set or high rolling or max rolling Adamant max attack. So I'm expecting Adamant max attack, and I'm just going to get a Surf off into the Slowking here, who's going to eject button into Weavile, and I'm fine with this because this is like sort of my revival check anyways. So he's gonna baton pass out into Slow King. I'm gonna get another surf off. Here I surf again and get toxic, which is not good for me. I really need to get out of here, but instead I'm clicking surf like a dummy. He gets a feature sight up, and I go into Diancie and he chilies into Scizor. U-turn is so obvious. I also could have Terra Steeled, but I didn't want to get like CC'd. So I go D-Knight, I take U-turn, and then Future Sight just hits me so hard. So Draggin comes in. I don't want it to blow up D-Knight just yet, so I'm going to switch into Diancie, and he's going to substitute with leftovers and Thunder Wave me. I Moonblast to break the sub, but get paralyzed, and he hexes for 35%. I Moonblast and great hit, critical hit into the sub there, and he's going to switch into Slow King as I get a Calm Mind boost. And then I'm going to Terra Steel on Toxic or Sludge Bomb and get parried on my Earth Power. He's going to Chili, and since I'm parried, I'm slower, and I'm predicting a switch here because he can't touch me. So I know he doesn't want me to get +6, so he's definitely switching here. So Moonblast is free, and I'm paralyzed, which sucks. So Raging Bull comes out, I take 28, and Moonblast picks out the KO. Colossal's going to come back in and Terra Flying, which is pretty obvious. I should have Moonblasted, but I didn't. Heat Crash is going to blow me up, and I'm going to Earth Power into it, and I'm done. So Heat Crash is going to pick me off, and Spectre is going to come in and Will-O-Wisp this, and Heat Crash is going to do 24%. Rillaboom is going to come in now on Spikes. He's going to start stacking, which is really scary. I knock off his Chillin Berry, and he's going to Heat Crash. So I'm bluffing Banned with this knockoff, which is really silly because he knows I'm not banded based on the damage. He can run a calc, and he shouldn't switch here. So this knockoff was stupid, and it just opens me up to getting burned, which is what happens. So now Rilla's burned, and he gets to continue to stack. He's going to go into Scizor as I U-turn and go into Blastoise. And with the Spikes and the Toxic, I'm chipped pretty low. I'm afraid of Sword Stance, and I want to spin to get these hazards off. I don't think he's going Pult, and I'm in dire straits here. Surf does a ton of damage as he Sword Stances again, picks me off with Bullet Punch. I got a bit more chip, and here is where things go really poor. I go Rillaboom to try and crit a Grassy Glide because I forget that I have Vacuum Wave on Ursaluna. So really, this was fine. I should have just sacked this, gone into Ursaluna to get my defense boost, and Vacuum Waved. Instead, I am going to sack both D-Knight and Spectre like a dummy. This thing's going to get recovery, but it's still in range of +1 Vacuum Wave. So, yeah, like I didn't even need to get +1 if I just switched in earlier. So, yeah, you can see I trolled this. I'm really mad about it. Weavile is going to come in and not kill me with Ice Shard. His Vacuum Wave is going to pick up the KO. Dragapult comes in and misses the pump because his only other damaging move is Hex. I don't know why he didn't sub here because I have to click Blood Moon to kill him. But, we take that. Cursed Body activates. This is a 8% to KO max, which he is. I don't get it, and I die. So, we can look at this here. I trolled the game, and he gave me some diff back, which I really appreciate. Even if I'd gotten this roll, Colossal, and I outsped it, I didn't kill with 2 Vacuum Waves at +1. I would have needed to wait for Blood Moon to come back, which I don't think I had time because I would have died to 2 Heat Crashes. So, yeah, played the game pretty poorly, but I think I've got a decent matchup if we end up matching up again in playoffs. So I'm sitting at 3-3. I really would like to win out the season to guarantee a good spot in playoffs. 4-4 is probably going to make it, but 5-3 is ideal. So that's our week 5 and our week 6 games. Thanks for watching, and